Welcome
Welcome,
to Shade
Shade
in the
in the
City.
City.
I am your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are jumping into our review of The Ready to Love, Season 8, Episode 12, Finale. Don't get me, it might just be the finale. I don't
Yeah, it's just the
know.
finale.
And I don't know. Was anybody this season really ready to love? I felt like,
I just want to know if anybody was shocked by the end results.
yeah, drop down in the comment shade squad. Let us know what you thought about the end results. But yeah, it ain't. Let's get through it. Let's get into it. Let's get shady. Now, all the singles, pairs, they meet up for the last family brunch. Morier is shocked that, him out of all people, Smooth Wave Morier has the most choices at the end.
I'm surprised too.
We all are. Now Quentin talks to Jessica about how much he likes Janelle, but the kid thing is kind of definitely a hurdle for him. Tommy comes in and tells them he's proud of them and thinks that they're all ready to love. Okay, Tommy. He tells them that, they have to make a life-changing decision and the women must introduce the men to their family with their connections to give their decisions, as we know. Now, Aries says that she's still on the edge thinking about the passing of her father. And she lets Phil know her concerns are real. And she doesn't want to make any bad decisions. So he's still like, oh, I don't know which way this is going to go. I'm not sure.
I
But
appreciate her for letting him know that she still has some real concerns.
she made it a point to stress that.
I feel like even when he addressed it online, we still don't know what you do, homie.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I responded. We still don't know what you do. Still don't know what you do. Still don't know if you can support yourself. Still, I mean, you could,
He said
didn't
he had a trucking
for, for like 8 years.
shipping business or
I
something.
don't think no, he did not. That's not what he said. Trade. I think what did he say? I don't remember what the hell he said. I just know that it wasn't clear, and I think it was for 8 years. You could be working at McDonald's for 8 years. I mean, that doesn't mean you can support yourself. We don't know what you do, or if you can support yourself. All he had to do was say, "I'm good over here. I can
Well,
take."
he did say that. He did say that she just didn't believe him. She wanted.
She she said he said what he said.
He
I'm
said
good.
he been said that because even when he stepped up, he said, I know you have concerns, but I'm good.
No, he said I have concerns as well. That you're concerned is what he said.
But he said, but I'm good, meaning that I'm concerned that you're concerned, but I'm
I
good.
mean, your I'm good may not be the same. I'm good. You could be
Okay.
good living in a box.
Well, not a box though.
I'm just saying, what does I'm good mean? We need some clarification. I feel like she has been transparent and crystal clear. We're not getting the same thing.
He didn't want to get into all that.
Of course. And that's why it ended the way it did. Janelle has Quentin meeting her cousin Courtney. She's super nervous because Courtney ain't never liked nobody she ever dated. Quentin shows up, and Courtney already seems impressed.
He's like, oh, you pulling out here pulling them young things.
Mm-hmm. He's impressed with his answers on family, friends, and um being that, it's imperative to him, that he meets the family and the friends. Courtney is liking this. He okay. Now he asked him, how do they feel about the age difference? And he says they don't even think about it. It doesn't get brought up unless somebody else brings it up. But his only concern is the kid thing. He says he's always wanted 3 kids. And, he's going to have to think basically if that's something he can do without. Janelle said that is completely off the table. She said, you ain't getting 3 kids out of him.
She said,
I'm
maybe
confused.
1.5 and a dog.
But what? So I'm confused. Are they referring to? Because I know she said adoption, but with this conversation, I was confused if she's talking about having children naturally or having a child naturally, because it sounds like, okay, I won't give you 3 kids, but I may have one naturally for you.
I I think I don't know. It was giving me the vibe that she was willing to think about having her own, or at least try.
Okay, okay. Um, so basically, she said the only way you're gonna get 3 out of me is if we have triplets. That's what it was. That's what it was. That's what gave me the idea that she was thinking like
That would
she.
make sense.
So I was like, oh, okay. So did we move on from the adoption thing? Well, anyways, after he left, Janelle told her cousin that 3 is a hard pass for her. They've talked about kids, but never a number. What he did was Lee. I just want to know what y'all be talking about. And she says to even have one, they need to be in love and married tomorrow to even get this child thing started. Now, Kat, she invited her cousin Monica to meet Morier because she knows Monica knows her relationship history. Now, before Morier got there, Monica was already concerned about the fact that Morier has a kid. She says she is too cute to be a stepmom. We don't do those. Okay. Now, Kat is trying to explain that, he has a good co-parenting relationship. And she's concerned about Monica's concerned about how well this relationship may
Relationship is,
be.
yeah.
I said, oh, Monica, she was, you know what? You know what? I would consider Monica. She's very much, she was given very much feminine energy, kind of like Kat, but she was like nice, nasty.
Mm-hmm.
She was given very much nice, nasty. I was like, oh, you know who needs to brush up on those skills?
Who?
I ain't gonna get into it anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't need nobody in our comments going crazy.
Mm.
So Maurier gets there, and he is kind of immediately in the hot seat when he brings up the dual citizenship. Monica basically told him, "Boy, I feel bad for you going to another country by yourself because my cousin ain't going."
Okay. She ain't doing it.
Shit. Kat was like, "Yeah, I'm all here for it."
No, you're not.
Not. But then Maurier says that he won't be going alone because when his son turns 12, he'll have full custody of him, and he'll be bringing him with him. And she's like, "Oh, the mama okay with that?" He said, "Yeah, we do everything together, the school stuff, the doctor stuff." She said, "Oh, kind of like y'all still together."
Right.
He said, "No, we've been split up for about 7 years." Monica said, "What if your son comes over and he ain't really feeling Kat's vibe?" He said, "Okay, well, first of all, this is a Black household and he ain't grown, he don't pay no bills. Okay. And there's respect in this house." So she said, "Okay, well, what if the mom ain't really feeling Kat and don't want her around him?" And he basically said he got control. Now, Kat noticed her cousin's face and realized she did not like that answer, but she feels that he was more talking about boundaries. So then, she had them
Whatever
both
she needs
stand,
to hear.
basically. So then she had them both stand up to see what the height difference was and asked if it bothered him. He said, "No, I like climbing trees." She said, "Well, what if my cousin like climbing trees with your short ass?" He said, "Well, I got all types of branches over here she can climb." Morgan, you gotta answer for everything.
That's why he's smooth wave Morier.
That's why he got 2 left at the bottom. Okay. At the end of this is why he got 2 left. Okay.
Stupid.
Now after Maria left, Monica told Kat that the baby mama situation really bothers her, as well as the living abroad thing. She really ain't feeling it for smooth way Maria.
Well, now we see Aries. He going over to meet with Phil.
I like this scene.
And her mom and her sister. I didn't get their names. Please forgive me.
Janet and Kim.
Janet and Kim. Look at Nels being on the job. So Phil shows up with flowers for the mom, but
and for Aries.
And Aries, but doesn't have a third bouquet, so he already knows that's a strike.
Wait, really that was really Aries' fault because she didn't let him know that the sister was
Right.
coming.
So her mom asked about his leadership qualities. Like mom came out the gate wanting to know what's up. I said Aries had to know if she was skeptical. She
Oh,
had to know
she did.
bringing.
She did. She said she was nervous because she know
I
how
was gonna
it
say she
down.
had to know bringing him to them was gonna be the end all be all. So he says he wants to piggyback off her ideas and
First of all, using the word piggyback already got like when the sister. I don't remember what she
no,
said.
I love when the sister tried to help him out. She said, "You mean collaborate?"
Exactly. Exactly. Now that I felt like she was trying to help him, but when he said,
Right.
"Girl," when he said piggyback, I said, "Wrong choice of words, homeboy.
Right.
Wrong choice."
But yeah, the sister, he was like, yeah, collaborate, and just not make decisions because, he's the man. So Aries says that that was the worst answer he could have given her family. And
He was like, "Yeah, that's how a partnership works." But in my family, that's the worst answer you can give.
then mama want to talk about faith. Okay. So he explains that he doesn't
Because
go.
that's how they. That's how. That's a lot. That's most Christians. You are the head. You are the head of the house. You leader. So now I want to know what your faith is. If you don't believe you should be the leader.
So
Janet was giving it toe, boy.
he's stupid. So he explains he doesn't go to church, but he does believe in God. But says that, he's a well, he didn't say
Buddhist.
he's a Buddhist.
Well, he believes in
But
that.
he practices Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
So then the mom asked, well, how is that going to work? Because we're Christian based over here. And then he said, well, he's not really tied to any religion. And I said,
He said, I don't subscribe to religion. I'm open.
not you being wishy washy in the faith too.
You being wishy washy with your leadership and the faith. Jesus. Why your ass? Look, never mind.
Look, it makes it look like you ain't stable in your faith and your work life. It's just not looking stability. It's not giving
You took the
stability.
words right out of my mouth. Look, I said, look, I started to say it and I said, I ain't gonna say it, but you said it for me.
So he mentions how he prayed over their food the first date, and the mother asked him to do so at that time. So, but also would not without mentioning they love a man that can lead. I said, Miss Janet. Then the sister asked, "What
Like
makes?"
Miss Janet. I loved Miss Janet. She
So
could be
then
my mama.
you stupid. Then the sister comes in for the final kill. And she asks what makes him happy or like what brings him happiness. And he talks about being a stand-up comedian. She asks him if the jokes are financially lucrative, and he admits that they're not. Now, mom asked about the financial stability, and he says that he got to go lead a check on his mama. So once he leaves, and the sister realizes he leaves,
Wait, did you notice that he tried to give like the mama a hug and everything when she look when he first came in and brought her flowers, she was all nice. Look, she said she like, boy, don't touch me. Get your greasy paws off of me.
I'm
That's
just saying.
that's what it was given.
Um, and so basically her sister is just like, yeah, the responses wasn't hitting. And then she's like, and what would your daddy think? And I was like, well, child. And basically Aries already knows at this point what she needs to do. And I
And she
said,
said it would be a no.
damn. Okay. Now I'm going to mess this girl's name up. Please forgive me.
Marco. Marco.
Marco. Okay,
Mm.
so Jessica has her cousin Marco meeting Smooth Wave Morier because she has a child and is divorced, and so she feels like they have things in common, and she trusts her opinion. Feels like she got the best for her. So she warns her that he's a Southern old man, and I was like, that's a very good description of Morier. I could definitely see that. Morier shows up looking like Ronald McDonald. I didn't say it; Twitter did. Blame them. I got it from Twitter. He did though. Everybody was like, where's the hamburger and grimace? So so the cousin asked how he would handle her being a boss, and he says, he is a boss, so and then he be having Jessica. I don't know. He didn't really answer the question, and then he talked about how Jessica be making him plates and whatnot. And I guess because Jessica said that she, even though she is a boss, sometimes she likes to be in that,
She likes to
serving
be
role.
domesticated.
Right.
But apparently that's the only thing she does
because she can't cook worth a damn. Apparently the friend can't either, and said the most they done is eggs, which I said that is terrible at y'all big age.
Oh, so you got that the friend I thought that what she was saying was like the
no,
only thing
she
I've
said the
seen.
most we do is eggs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I read that all wrong.
So, but we already know Jessica said this in the beginning of the season, so this ain't no new information. But he obviously he's fine with being the one that cooks. He wants to open a restaurant in the next year. And then he talks about wanting to be married in the next 2 or 3 years. Marco says that she can actually see the two of them together. And I said, girl, bye. But it's okay. I mean, we'll get into it. There's just and we'll get into it. I'll wait till we get there.
So I guess when it's time for Phil to show up, he does. Okay, because he did not come to play. He came with flowers and a gift. Apparently, it was a baseball with a heart stitched into it because he knows that's where Aries' heart is. Now, her dad was a professional baseball player and coach, and he said that he still wants to be supportive of her and the love and grieving process that she's going through, and he chooses her. So Aries says, she still has some concerns that doesn't give her confidence that they would need to continue. So she's choosing herself today. Now, what? Because what? Because there's things that she knows about herself, basically, that she would need from a man in order to show him respect. I said, "Ooh." And she knows the type of leader that she needs. Now he said, "Oh, now we getting on respect." Okay, well,
Yeah, that hurt his pride.
Yeah, it did. But I mean, if you riding on my back rather than leading us,
No, not riding on my back.
you piggybacking. I mean, you respect leaders, don't you?
Sorry. Shout out to one of our Twitter followers. I love her. We be having a kiki again. Twitter is where it be at when they be live. But shout out to Juan Dixon's hotel receipt, or that's at Montana 0816. That's my baby's birthday twin at the same time. But she said Aries dressed up and Phil looks like he's going to the corner store to get a pack of Newports. I was done. I was done.
Well, that shows a lot about their budget. Their budget difference.
Right.
REA met Jessica with some flowers. He said him and Kat are just better as friends. And him and Jessica have a stronger connection. He said they truly get each other. She lets him know that she appreciates his willingness to work through their religious beliefs and help her find a safe space. And she's happy. She found her safe space with him, and she chooses him as well.
Did anybody else think that this was bullshit? They didn't even, I guess they hugged. It was more like they didn't kiss. But then I thought about the fact she said she didn't like PDA, but then I was like, it's just given that it's not real. Like it's not, and even when
even the people that I think that they think it's real, I don't think it's real.
Okay. If that shade to Quentin and Janelle. Okay. Somebody feels the way.
So Quentin, of course, met with Janelle because there was nobody else. We know Lee went home. Now,
he would have chose Janelle anyway. He absolutely would have.
That's because I feel like it's because he's only seen Janelle act out one time. He needs to go back and look at the Janelle that we've seen.
I don't think that bothered him. I think he, in some way, kind of likes that.
No, he said he didn't. Remember when she flipped out at the
I know. I'm saying
retreat?
he say he don't, but then at the same
Oh, you
time,
think it's a lie?
yeah.
Mm. But basically, one of the biggest things for him in a relationship is a partner that he can laugh with and smile with. And he's always excited to see her and those dimples. So he chooses her. He said, as far as the child goes, he's open to adopting, but it's more important for him to find his person
It
than
was the come here girl for me. I said, oh, Quinn,
the what?
the come here girl. Just every time, come here, girl. I said, yes, yes. I'd be running across in the field, taking long walks around the park after dark, find a spot.
Girl, hush. She told him he's incredible, and it's been her pleasure to go through this with him. They do still have to figure out what their age difference looks like, but it's not something that worries her. And they get each other, so she chooses him as well. And
And
they
this, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, and she's gonna be so
and
mad.
then they had their
I low
long
key,
awaited kiss.
I low key was up here getting teary eyed over Janelle and Quentin. I was low key getting teary eyed. I know it really bothers her, but I was getting teary eyed. Even though she thinks it's bullshit. But we'll see what happens at the reunion. I realized they were the only two still sitting next to each other in the
But
pre.
we know just because people sit next to each other don't mean that they still together.
They're definitely more together than Morier and Jessica.
Didn't at the preview of the reunion she made it sound like they were still together, and then Kat
Was
said
like,
something.
that's bullshit.
Look, cause he in my DMs. Who knows? They
You
be
know
doing.
what? It's, and I hate to say this, and I hope this is not true about her. She gives me the vibe just based off of what we seen in like these last or most recent episodes. It gives me the vibe that she would do anything just to say she had for man, even if the relationship is not there. And I hate to say that, but if you look based off her actions and how she goes in and lies and says things are the way they're not, it really gives me the vibe that she just wants to say she got a man.
A lot of women that do that, it's because it's easier to lie and make up these things and try to make it feel like there's nothing wrong with you rather than self-reflect and work on what needs to be worked on.
Well, that was a little shady, but
because I wanted to say something earlier, but I decided not to go there. So I decided to put it like that.
Well, Shade Squad, drop down in the comments. Let us know what you think about the decisions of all of our singles. I guess now they're couples. And if you think they'll still be together by the reunion and if it's real. But if you haven't already, please, please, please make sure that you've hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the IG. And yeah, we will catch you guys for the reunion. Yeah, in a few days and stuff. You don't know how that'll be. But anyway, y'all have a good night and a lovely rest of your week. Bye-bye.
Good night.